Hi everyone, I hope you're having a good weekend. I'm going to be going over what's coming up in week 6 in this video. So let's go ahead and look at the overview. As you can see, it's really based around the research logs that you're going to be doing. And so let me pull this up here, our week 6 overview. I want to remind people that the research logs are meant to slow down the research process so that you are only finding 1 or 2 sources at a time, and then using those sources to learn more about your topic so that you can do an even more informed search for the next research log. So all of this depends on you having done what was due on Friday. Okay, so this past Friday, you will need to have done the guiding question infographic so that you have a guiding question as your topic for your research logs. You should have set up your research logs following these specific instructions, and you should have done the evaluating sources crap test studio, because that will become a part of your research logs. So I want to pull up the first research log, which is going to be due on Wednesday by the end of the day. And the research logs will be that one running document. So you do not create a new document for each of your research logs. You will just keep adding to this one and using the instructions for the specific headings to help you organize the document and navigate it easily. Okay, so for the research log 1, you are going to be finding 2 sources. Okay, so the first source will be any article that we have not already read in Bad Ideas About Writing that you think is connected to your guiding question in some way. And I just want to note that for every research log, you will have this box here telling you where you're looking for your sources and how many you need. So it's either going to be 1 or 2, and I always direct you on where you should be looking for the sources, or what kind of source you should be looking for. So for research log 1, you're finding an article from our textbook that we haven't read, and an in-depth news article from a news source that you think is a trustworthy news source. And it should be in-depth, so it shouldn't be just, a couple paragraphs. It should go into enough depth that you learn something that's not just surface level about the topic. So I want to say something about the Bad Ideas About Writing and finding a source in there. There are tons of articles we have not read, and you may find that there is not one that directly addresses the guiding question that you have picked, and that is fine. You want to find a source that you think has some kind of impact on your topic or is related in some way if you can't find one that you feel directly addresses it in some way. So you want to get used to this idea that your sources will not always say everything about your topic, but start thinking of them as kind of pieces of a larger puzzle of a certain angle on your topic, or saying something interesting, or laying a foundation, or some kind of connection that you as the editor of your topic can choose or can explain. So if you see the connection, that's what's important. So don't be worried if you can't find one that directly addresses your topic. Okay, so just like in the document where you set up your research log, I have very specific headings that you need to use within Google Docs, and this will help create an outline of your research logs and make it very easy to navigate as you go forward, adding to this document, which will become quite long. You should not add these color codings, though. I just added these color codings so that I'm just kind of emphasizing the different headings in the instructions, but you do not need to add those color codings. Just follow the instructions for the different headings. Okay, so I'm not going to walk you through each instruction here, but you can see that you'll need the heading 1 for research log, and then you'll have the title and the citation and a hyperlink. Then you're going to have a summary, key terms, and a crap test. Okay, and then you will move on to the second source, which is your news source, and you'll have the same thing. So a heading that shows, and I say abbreviated title, you don't have to abbreviate it if it's not a really long title, and then adding the citation, hyperlink, summary, and then you're following these instructions for summary, which was the same from the studio. Key terms. So key terms, you don't need to have a ton of them. You're just looking for kind of specialized language, something that you think needs to be defined that the general public wouldn't necessarily know the definition of. And then another CRAP test for that second source. And then the last thing that you'll write is an editor's commentary of about 200 words that addresses both sources at once. So you do not need to write a separate editor's commentary for each source. You are talking about them in tandem, kind of discussing relations between them or things that stand out to you. So this is really just your reaction to the sources that you have in this research log. Okay. So then it's very important that you go back to your table of contents and update them. Update the table of contents so that once you update it, your table of contents will include anything that you have added as a heading. So heading 1, 2, or 3 will appear in your table of contents, and this is what it should look like in some way with your own titles that you have chosen. Okay, so to turn in your research log 1, you'll see in the assignment that you need to turn in a link. So you're not going to copy and paste the link from the Google Doc. You're also not going to submit the shared link from the Google Doc. So this is probably different than what many of you have done before in terms of turning in a link. You're going to turn in the link from the table of contents. So if you click on the research log 1 in your table of contents, you will see the option to copy a link. And you're going to submit that. And what that will do is it will take me directly to that section of your document when I'm grading this. So that becomes more and more important as the document gets longer and longer, that I don't need to, when we're on research log 5, scroll through your whole research log document to get to that section. So you will always be submitting whatever research log we are on from the link in the table of contents. So that's very important. Okay, and then, so that's due on Wednesday. And then on Friday, you have research log 2 due. And for this one, you are finding only one source. And this is where you need to look for your sources from any of these 5 writing studies journals that I have linked from. So all of these journals, their focus is issues related to writing and communication. So this might take you a little while to find a source, but you'll want to click on them and search within those journals and try out several different key terms. Again, you might find something that you think directly addresses your topic, or you might find something that you think is connected to your topic in an interesting way that you can explain. Either one is fine as long as you're finding your source from one of these 5 journals. Okay, so again, you'll see that the instructions are the same. And you only have one source for the second one, so it's the entire thing will be a bit longer, and your editor's commentary will be just about that one source, and you will submit the link from research log 2 in the table of contents. So you'll get used to doing the research logs in this format. So then you will also do a peer response to whatever your group members did for research log 1. So you're going to use the Google's comments feature. If you don't know how to do that, I have some instructions there. And you're going to focus on their summaries and their editor's commentary. Okay. And I also have a sample citation there as well. So if you're seeing that their citations aren't looking correct, that's something you can comment on as well. So you want to add at least 2 comments to each of your group members' research log 1. So you can find their research log 1 in your shared group Google folder. Just remember that your group members will eventually be reflecting on your engagement in the peer review process, and that will be a grade at the end of the semester. So please put forth a good effort to give feedback to your group members. If they don't have anything there, there's nothing you can do, and you will not be penalized for your group members not turning in their, or doing their assignment. And finally, this week, we're going to get to a studio on peer review. So you've done a little bit of peer review so far this semester, but this studio really helps lay the foundation for how you should approach it in this class. And a lot of students find somewhat relief in the way peer review is described in this studio. So hopefully this gives you kind of a fresh perspective on how to approach peer review in a way that doesn't seem yes, I know some students feel very anxious around peer review, and I think this relieves a lot of that anxiety. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions throughout the week. Go ahead and post them to the Ask the Professor forum, and I hope you all have a great week.